Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Here we're doing something a little bit something different. You mentioned it being heard in our full episode. If you haven't heard it yet, please, the link is below for you to check it out. But AEW is doing something so beautiful, something well deserved. The man is honorable for all of his attribute, hard work throughout his 30 years wrestling, break or non-break, but the man still had put in work for the business that he loved, the sport that he has put his heart, soul, blood, and sweat into the our for our entertainment. I'm talking about celebrating Jericho 30 years. So AEW is be doing it this upcoming Wednesday as a celebration, but we decided to do it a little bit early so we could tell you guys what we thought was our special moment. And we're not going to do all 30 plus. We're just probably going to do maybe 10.
Yeah, and I think that our picks are kind of varied from like the different eras and different Jericho modes that he had throughout the years.
Yes, sir. So let's start off from the beginning. As you guys know, Chris Jericho did started with WCW, and when he came to the state, and from there on, WCW was bought off from WWF, and I think Luisito is going to take over with this particular moment.
Yeah. So I think one of the best moments that Chris Jericho had, it was a match between I think 1997. Eddie Guerrero against Chris Jericho for the Cruiserweight champion. I think Chris Jericho was the incumbent champion, but that match was probably one of the best things. And it's good to see Chris Jericho transitioning throughout the years, but this match was very technical, and I think it was probably one of the best matches he had, especially going against Eddie. They always had a few in WCW, and I think it was great. One of those who like wrestling and the skill and the art of wrestling. It's these two show us what true wrestling, especially for the cruiserweight, they both were kind of like the anchor for that division.
Well said, my friend. Well said. Another match as well. I think it's worth mentioning too, and I think you also have it too. Is the countdown?
Yeah, when he returned, 1999, his first debut of to WWF Countdown while The Rock was doing a promo, which was great because The Rock was kind of like the big star at WWF, and him interrupting The Rock, and the promo was great, and it just that started kind of like the momentum of him WWF and transitioning over to him winning other things we'll get into later on too.
Yes. One of my favorable moments in history occurred in December 9th, 2001. Basically, the man that we are honoring and celebrating did something. It was history in the making, okay? So basically, Jericho, in a separate match, was able to win the World Championship from The Rock and the WWE Championship from Stone Cold Steve Austin to unify the title, and him being the first ever undisputed era champ. Like, that is something that when we say undisputed, you got to think of Chris Jericho. You got to put him right there on the top of your list because the man did it all. The man was able to go at it nights after nights, putting his body under the line. Y2J would it's oh my god, he is during the Attitude Era was such a freaking beast, guys. You gotta watch those recap videos. Those so memorable.
And now we're just talking, that like 10 little things throughout history, but like I feel like anything he says he turns into gold. And it's just crazy that he's able to work with anybody. We've seen that we mentioned the cruiserweights, then he transitioned to other things he's won. Like Jay said, that basically double champ. He probably one of the first double champ, the undisputed. Then he was won other championship as well, but it's just like him being able to transition to different positions and also transition to different divisions throughout the years and becoming kind of one of the biggest stars for the past 30 years, which is kind of crazy.
And also following that 2001 series, I believe it was May 24th, him Chris Benoit, rest his soul, the Dudleys, Hardy, and Ed and Christian had a fatal four-way tables, ladder, chairs match to figure out who was going to be the one facing the two-man power team, which is Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And if you guys revisit that match or watch it on YouTube or wherever you can find it, you'll see how high energy, how well coordinated, how well Chris Jericho was able to deliver, working with all, like, except for one, of course, because, you know, conspiracy and, you know, controversy. They're all Hall of Famers. That's the crazy part. They're all Hall of Famer, and I definitely believe this was one of the matches that kind of cemented his career in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Let's see what else. I have a couple. I would say another moment that, you know, he's kind of like a chameleon. He's able to make anything important and special. I have a moment him unveiling the list. I know he has different. He's become, you know, he was a Lion Tamer, Y2J, everything all together. But I feel like the list is kind of like, it's just crazy if you think about it. Just the whole premise of you are on the list, like, that's basically like the job of a bouncer, and he made that list into gold. Like, it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, the brain and the thought of be like, all right, I'm taking this list and putting everybody into it, and like just making it into a gimmick, and it made it work. And I think he had it for a couple of years, and it's just been great. And even he brought it back in one of his intros when he went back to AEW. They show you the evolution of him until the last what we have currently. But the list, it's a great moment, especially him putting people that he doesn't like on the list. It was amazing.
An amazing moment too. And also the list also continue on as well. We saw it early in the 2000. We also see it in what you may call it during the golden era, where John Cena was you know, starting to be the face of the company.
Mm-hmm.
Then you also see it during, like, after with the new generation with Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose, and that it was like that list thing. It was magic. It was pure comedy. It was brilliant, and I'm glad he was able to bring that to our life, because, like, little kids come at you be like, you just made the list. I'm like, oh snap, you did your homework. Yeah. Like, you know about wrestling. I want to go to people be like, oh yeah, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho finally meeting up in the AEW, blah blah blah. No. They go way back to Wrestle Kingdom 12, guys. Chris Jericho was exactly 46 years old. I mean, this is him already did what he had to do with WWE, excuse me, after one of my other favorite events I'm about to mention. But he was able to pull the promo of being the best wrestler ever to Kenny Omega in his dojo, basically, and calling himself the Alpha. And it was the first and one and only Alpha versus Omega match in Kingdom 12 for the IWJP United States Championship, which it was a killer. That viewership, high numbers, guys. You guys gotta watch it to embrace and enjoy what Chris Jericho was at that age, 46 years old.
And I like that he was able to. He made it all over the world. He traveled everywhere. He basically done it all. But I like that he basically trained in Mexico, did some stuff in Mexico, went to mainstream. He also trained in Canada. So he's been all over the world, and he's able to, like, evolve his character and persona throughout the ages, and him transitioning to New Japan, which he's done before, but especially now that you have, like, the guy, Kenny Omega, kind of being, like, that's your, like, it's like King Kong going against Godzilla. Like, those two are, like, the best of the best, like, of the world. Then when we got to see him at a later age, like you mentioned, at 46, he evolved to something different. We didn't see the list, or we didn't see the scarf. We saw a new type of Chris Jericho, different look, different attire, and it's just like the feud between the two was great. And it's continued all the way to AEW, but we haven't seen it that much at the moment. But I feel like they hold in that piece because they created magic between the two.
It was just a great experience, and the crazy part too is that before he said his final goodbye to WWE, right? He did one of the best segment, I think. One of the best segment was working with Kevin Owens. You know what I'm saying? They did a thing called the Friendship Festival back in 2017. And the way how everything worked out, you know what I'm saying, is like they first didn't like each other, but then they slowly build this bond, and you know, Kevin Owens rocking a scarf, Chris and Kevin Owens working together while Kevin Owens was the Universal Champion. You know what I'm saying, as well, and then also pushing Chris Jericho for the United States Champion as well. Common enemy was Dean Ambrose, but the comedy, the promos, the love that you got from it, it was so good. You know what I'm saying? See two Canadian brethrens just like killing it and selling tickets. You know, I think it was one of the top attraction back in 2017. But of course, when you make friendship with a man named Kevin Owens, you definitely got to keep your eyes open at all time. And Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho had some great matches, not the best matches, but some great matches that I felt like it was well delivered.
And I feel like I don't know, for me as a viewer, especially for Kevin Owens, I don't know what his opinion was when he had that feud or those moments with Jericho, but I feel like that's the best moments that for my opinion, of especially Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens, that they both had fun with it. And I feel like we got to see, especially Kevin Owens, like see a different side of Kevin Owens rather than just like the athletic side and stuff. We got to see like him being funny and more kind of like character of like development of himself. And I feel like that helped them throughout that time because it was so like overcrowded with people, that him being with Chris Jericho has helped him move on amongst the company during that time in WWE.
And it was a great time too, because we actually needed someone like Jericho to be able to sell tickets, to be able to be the try to help these generation during a really tough time, because after it was like the Shield breakup, Kurt Angle returning, there was so much element going on. SmackDown being the land of opportunity. I'm glad that Jericho was tried to do whatever he can to be like the leader, you know what I'm saying, for the group, and it kind of worked out at the end. You know, it's sad how it ended, but you know, after that, we got Kingdom 12, and from Kingdom 12, we got freaking AEW, and which is another amazing moment, because I think this is one of your segments.
Yeah, and I feel like the talking about AEW, he was basically the ambassador for this company. He was like, it was just crazy. The power that he has is he spoke to, I don't know those who know the story or not, but he spoke to Vince. He was like, is it cool that I leave and start another company? And Vince was like, yeah, you're good. Like, he had the blessing from Vince to do his own thing. Normally Vince is like, no, I don't want a competition or whatever. So Chris Jericho did his own thing. He also did the Cruise thing, which is crazy. But like, one of the best moments, I think, overall, when he won the AEW championship, being the first of the company and the oldest of that company. There's older people that have been older that's won heavyweight championship, but for AEW, he's the oldest and the first champion.
I think the age of 49, 50 years old?
Yeah, 48, 49, yeah, which is crazy. But it was a great match, and it was great. It was probably, that's what I feel like what set AEW to stand out from that point on. Because I feel that's the first pay-per-view, and I feel like it wasn't an All Out, wasn't it?
Well, Double or Nothing is the first pay-per-view, and then in that one, it was Kenny versus Hangman to know who was going to be the number one contendership to face Chris at All Out. So
but he has feud with. It's just like him. Anybody he goes against, he aids, and I feel that title reign that he had, it just helped, and him being the champion, it created opportunity for other people, which he allowed to create his own group, which it's one of your choices.
Which, yeah, the Inner Circle. I mean, like Chris Jericho again. He did the Y2AJ. He partnered with AJ Styles, Kevin Owen, The Rock. He worked with Kurt Angle. He worked with so many talents. You know what I'm saying? That it's. I think one of his most solid group, besides his rock band, is the Inner Circle. The Inner Circle so far has been a stable that it has gave us so many different elements, especially during the quarantine with the bubbly bunch.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I thought it was funny. You weren't a big fan at the beginning, but I'm hoping
it's still part of the his history.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you got to understand too is that's where he was able to also work. He selected certain individuals, Sammy being the youngest, the Proud and Powerful being a solid tag team, but also try to utilize them to be able to be more known, more recognized, which they have, because I don't think without Chris Jericho, we would have gotten that parking lot match with Best Friend.
True.
Honestly, in my honest opinion, without Jericho, I don't think that match would have happened without them getting them involved with the Inner Circle. Working with Jake Hager, I think that's kind of good because Jake Hager is dull and Kurt's giving him more flavor now, being his tag team partner. And then it really worked out great. And because of the Inner Circle, we got the first ever Stadium Stampede match between Inner Circle versus the Elite with Matt Hardy, which was, I mean, like, say what you want.
I think that was the first cinematic match they had. It was great.
In a stadium. Yeah. That's the crazy part. They were in the stadium and they killed it. They killed it the best they could. I mean, like, again, without Chris Jericho being an influence with these ideas, AEW would have been whack. I'm glad he decided to go with AEW.
And also, talking about him being an influencer and kind of like developing people, I feel like we have to... No, I feel like end in a good note, but in a funny kind of note. I feel like basically this whole thing with him, Chris Jericho, and the Orange Cassidy drama and promo and everything, great. He was able to take somebody that didn't talk.
Nobody gave a damn about.
Nobody cared to make him into the superstar that he is now. And like him, the debate was great. It was very topical because it was something that we're currently going through, the debate and presidential stuff, which was great. And him bringing Eric Bischoff to the show, which was amazing because all the promo of like, oh, we're going to have a moderator. Nobody knew. And Eric Bischoff, I don't know, which was great. And I think for me, it was a funny match. It was just like, it gave a highlight to the pay-per-view, but I feel like the Mimosa Madness, another Chris Jericho creation, that he was able to like take the feud that they had together from the Bubbly Bunch and Orange Cassidy, making it into a match that I don't think is going to be replicated again. I hope not.
Hell no.
But I feel
it's hard to do that.
But I feel like the match between that two was great, and it was good storytelling, and he was able, from this like promo and drama they had between the two, to create a new superstar for the company, and he keeps continuing doing that with other stars currently.
And all we gotta say, man, is, hey, Jericho, you deserve this even more. I think we also mentioned you're the first one to ever have like a match overseas in a boat. Like,
I think he had the first match against a female and lose for the, I think, the Intercontinental against China.
Wrestler Soul.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
he made a fuss over hot coffee with, I think it was Kane, or it was Kane or Undertaker was a big guy. It was like, dude, what didn't you do? I think he was also I think he was one of the selection, and I could be wrong, for that big fatal four-way when it was like Lily McMahon picked The Rock, Shane picked Big Show, Stephanie had no, that was not it. I was thinking about a different moment. I was thinking about something else. I'm like, yo.
But I feel like, imagine 30 years. I know
he was in the first Fatal 6-Way Hell in Cell match.
And I think, wasn't he in the first Money in the Bank? he helped create the Money in the Bank. Like, he just had his hand all over the industry. Like, I feel like even non-wrestler fans and stuff, they know he's probably, I guarantee you, he's probably one of the 5 people that people know that are non-wrestlers. Like, everybody knows The Rock, Triple H, you know, like mainstream, but I feel like everybody knows Chris Jericho, and it's just like he's just been in pop culture and he's been part of the wrestling community for like 30, which is crazy, 30 years. That's crazy.
What we gotta take away from Chris Jericho is like from the long hair,
short hair, like
long hair again, bright suit,
scarf, list,
the list, any
painted face, like when he went to New Japan.
Like, oh my God, that was a good one. For Kingdom 12, he a fedora. I mean, like whatever he touched, you know, champagne, the bubbly. I mean, like it's gold. And yo, Chris, all we gotta say, man, is thank you, man. Thank you for being such a great individual, a great spirit, and always giving a helping hand to those who never asked for it and those who did ask for it. And it seems like you always do it with so much love. And, you know, for that, you definitely got our respect for sure.
Imagine he's been doing it as long that we've been alive.
Yes.
That's crazy.
I just turned 31.
Yeah. Like, he's been doing it as long as we've been alive. That is crazy.
It's crazy.
But that's good. And I feel like we don't see no other athlete or performer with this longevity anymore. So, and all right, so let me rephrase that. We haven't seen nobody of this longevity that's able to evolve with the times in the era of throughout the ages. Because if you think about it, he started 80s. So he went from a cruiserweight, long hair, Mexican style, like lucha libre, all the way to intercontinental, more promo, slow it down. Now heavyweight, he was the first undisputed double champion. Going from then to the main event, then taking little weird gimmicks that Vince gave him, like the list and other things, the scarf and stuff. Then transitioning over to New Japan, which is a different style, so he revamped his whole thing. In the meantime, he's also performing with his band. And now he's creating a new alternative company with other wrestlers, AEW, becoming the spearhead and kind of like the head of the company. Then now he's developing new people and a circle. Like, he's done it all. I don't know what else we're going to see. And also him marketing, like the list, Les X God, the demo god, like anything that he says is just
Y2J,
it's
everything.
crazy. Like it's amazing. I'm just curious what they're gonna. We give you a little taste of what he's done, like what that we could remember, and kind of like in a short little time, the top kind of memorable thing. But AW, I just imagine what they're gonna give us, which is gonna be interesting. I think next Wednesday.
Honestly, it's not gonna be much of the WWF stuff because I don't think they gotta have the copyright for it.
True, but I don't know if it belongs to him or maybe I don't know.
I mean that definitely is a good question.
Because there's all footage about him, and he hasn't changed his name. So
let's find out. Let's find out. But I think with what you said is a good note to end. So guys, leave your comment below. Let us know what you thought. We'll share your favorite moments as well from the full show as well. Leave your comments as well below and tell us what was your favorite match and what was your worst favorite match. Remember, we're the Providence Lucha Talk. If you found us accidentally, we want to say, hey, thank you, and also follow us. You know what I'm saying? Subscribe to our YouTube page. Follow us on the Instagram, this Twitter, as well as the Facebook page. We'll definitely continue to do this for you guys. For those who like the audio content, it's found on both Apple Podcasts as well in Spotify. So with that being said, I am your boy, Jay Aguila.
This is Luisito.
And we said buenas noches.
See ya. Good night.
Peace.